I just killed this draft. Now, there was a lot of different strategies used in this draft. That's why I want to go over it. I used a different strategy myself compared to how I usually do, and quite a few others did some interesting things. So really what we're going to do here is we're going to look over a few different strategies. Since it's the day of, later on tonight, the NFL schedule is coming out. We're going to know all the playoff matchups. That's going to give us a huge advantage going forward. So at least for today, I'm not going to be drafting a whole bunch of best ball teams. What I'm going to do is continue dialing in my strategy, and that's what I'm going to help you do as well. Now, we're going to look this over. Now, as I look through, let's just look at how everyone built their teams first, positional counts. And right away, we notice that the person in the one hole went a 2-quarterback team. Interesting. And we will go deeper into all of these strategies later on. The second drafter who ended up on auto draft, I believe they ended up putting themselves on auto draft around round 11, round 12, something around there. I do not think this is one of those guys who was on auto draft and queuing up their players, trying to trick you into think they're on auto draft. I'm pretty sure this was a guy who just doesn't know the people at the end of the draft and just, went through a little bit more than half of it and left. Probably started a new one, whatever. Now, and then you have me here in the third hole. What's interesting about my team? Well, I have 4 tight ends. I do not recommend drafting 4 tight ends. It's not a strategy that I go with very often, but rules are meant to be broken, okay? And I will show you throughout the analysis of this draft what kind of validated me taking a 4th tight end in the 20th round, okay? Then we have KJ Football. He's got an elite tight end team. Also, this guy's got 2 tight ends. Nothing too risky. 2 tight ends is probably safer than 4 some of the time. Most of the time, you're better off with 3 tight ends, okay? We're moving right along. This guy's got a pretty balanced team. The next guy here, Chalky63, also has a balanced team. Another balanced team here for T-Bomb. We've got another 4. I thought I was the only 4 tight end team in here, but Drake the Kid also decided to go 4 tight ends, and we will go through and see if I made a better decision going 4 tight ends, or if this guy made a better decision going 4 tight ends. I mean, I can see right off the bat that he spent a 2nd-round pick on Brock Bowers, so it's probably going to be me, but I'm not going to judge that too early, but that's something to come back to a little bit later. We got another balanced team, and these teams are all balanced. Now, looking through the first couple of rounds, it doesn't look like anyone did anything crazy. Bijan Robinson and Gibbs basically go the first 2 picks almost every draft. Once in a while, you'll see one of those guys fall to pick 3 or 4, but that's how we're starting most drafts. I had the 3rd overall pick in this draft. I decided to go with Jamar Chase. These big 3 wide receivers seem to have a leg up on everyone else by a mile. And I know that Chase was the wide receiver 3 for fantasy last year. But the thing is, Joe Burrow missed 10 weeks, and he still finished as the wide receiver 3. I have to think with a healthy Joe Burrow that Chase returns to wide receiver 1 land. At least that's what we're hoping for in this specific draft. Of course, you have to draft with all these different scenarios in mind, and you need to give yourself the best chance to win by having the most possible paths. Okay, so nothing surprising happens now for a couple picks. We got Puka, we got JSN, we got Christian McCaffrey, we got James Cook. James Cook before Taylor is a little bit surprising, but you know what? That's definitely not a hard rule. Whoever you like more, both of those guys could potentially smash and be better than the other. It seems like consensus thinks that Taylor is better than Cook, but that could very well go either way. Justin Jefferson is my least favorite pick here in the first round, just because he's got questions at quarterback. They have offensive line questions, and it's just a little bit rich for my blood. If he were to start falling to the middle of the 2nd round, I would probably start taking him up now. But as of right now, I believe I have 0% Jefferson. Now, Jefferson's a good player. I don't hate Jefferson. He's just going a little bit too high for my comfortability. Okay, and then we have St. Brown, Lamb, Genty goes in the first round, which is a little bit surprising, ahead of Barkley, ahead of Achane. If that's how you want to do it, that's how you want to do it. But now that, just after looking through the first round, we're not going to go through this whole draft like that. But now that we've taken a peek, we see that no one started the draft with anything horribly egregious. So you know what I mean? Like there's a couple of questionable picks, but no one did anything in the first round or 2 that basically dictated the rest of the draft, okay? Now, who did some crazy stuff here? Let's start right back here in the beginning. We have the first 2 spots both started with double hero running back builds. Okay, I'm not talking any smack about these guys. Now, In the third hole, you have me. At least for my usual draft strategy, this is very different. I actually went hero wide receiver, which I don't even think is a thing, but basically one wide receiver in the first 5 rounds. And then I also went robust running back without one of them being an absolute elite first rounder. So instead of taking hero running back here in the first round, I went robust for the second, third, and fourth. And these guys are all a little bit different. Brown is a good running back. He catches a lot of passes, and he's the kind of guy to where it doesn't matter if the Bengals are winning or losing. If they're winning, he's going to get a lot of touches. If they're losing, he's going to get a lot of touches. He's a pretty safe pick. Williams doesn't catch as many passes, but the thing with him is he's running behind the best offensive line in the NFL. And Judkins is the kind of guy who's really good, but because he's on the Browns, people are sleeping on him. He has a little bit more value than where he is going, and he's just the kind of guy that I'm trying to capitalize on the rest of the draft mates just not liking him because of his situation. But the Browns are going to be a little bit better this year on offense, and they already had a pretty good defense. And, if their defense can keep them in games, they're going to try to run the ball. And when they try to run the ball, they're going to try to do that through Judkins. They do like Sampson as well, but I think Judkins is a clear-cut, higher percentage of the touch kind of guy, okay? So, I'm not going to go through this whole draft right now, but just starting, I had basically a hero wide receiver build with Jamar Chase. I didn't take another wide receiver until the 6th round. I went robust running back, and then I also ended up taking Joe Burrow here in the 5th, which, considering it was in the top 5 rounds, I do consider that elite quarterback. So now we have hero wide receiver, elite quarterback, and robust running back. All those strategies are baked into my first 5 rounds. The guy in the next slot here, okay, he went elite tight end build, and he also went hero running back with Cam Skattebo. We'll see who he ends up getting a little bit later on in this draft. In my opinion, although Cam Skattebo is an incredibly talented running back, he's a good running back 2 or running back 3 for your best ball team. I would not go leaning on him to be my hero running back. I mean, he just runs too hard. The probability of him getting injured is too high. He had a strong start at wide receiver with Puka and Collins and Burden. He went elite tight end, and he went hero running back, one running back in the first 5 rounds, but that one running back is a little bit questionable to be your hero running back in any kind of build. So our next person here in the 5th slot, they also went hero running back. Their choice for the hero running back was Marion Hampton. Also a questionable choice here. The thing is, the Chargers just have a horrible offensive line, right? So you're really leaning on Marion Hampton to be your hero running back. Now this guy's got JSN, he's got Olave, he's got Waddle, he's got McLaurin. His wide receivers are real nice, but he's got no elite quarterback, he's got no elite tight end, and his hero running back is Hampton, who, in my opinion, is just as questionable as Skattebo for your hero running back. And considering you had to take him 2 full rounds earlier, it's just really not worth it. The guy here in the next slot went double hero running back with McCaffrey and Walker. Love it. Good start. And then he went Brown, and he's got Brown paired with May. You know what? This guy, Chalky63, had a very good start. Now, T-Bomb went double hero running back and elite quarterback. He might end up being weak at wide receiver and tight end, but we will wait until we get down a little bit further to analyze. This next guy, Dake the Kid, my bad. He's got hero running back and elite tight end. Nothing really to comment on here. Now, okay, this guy has an interesting strategy. I wouldn't call this a hero running back build. I wouldn't necessarily call it a robust running back build. I would say that this guy faded his running backs and then wasted some picks on some guys that aren't going to be solid enough. This guy, Hazy 08, sorry, this is the worst start I've seen so far. That's pretty, I mean, not ever, but in this specific draft here. Okay, I'm not going to TJ here. TJ started with Amon-Ra St. Brown in the first round. Solid pick. He's got, I don't know if I would call this a double hero running back build. I would say that this is a robust running back build here. Just building a balanced team here in the beginning. Grox. So Grox, he tried to build a hero running back team, but he's got Price as his hero running back. That is very interesting. Maybe he will explode and be the number 1 running back in Seattle, and in that situation, which I guess is what you're hoping for, maybe he could be a good hero. But I like Charbonnet a little bit too much to say that Price is going to be a valid hero running back. Okay, Now we have Step It. Step It completely faded. He completely faded wide receiver, and he started quadruple running back. Interesting. We're going to have to see where that pans out, but I can already tell you in the 5th round, after starting quadruple running back, I hate going Tyler Warren, which is a low-level elite tight end. Okay, so I mean, you just have 0 draft capital on wide receivers. Now, going back to my team, we've got the hero wide receiver. We've got the robust running backs, as I said. We got an elite quarterback to pair with Jamar Chase and with Chase Brown. As we came down here to the 6th round, we come down to the 6th round. Not many quarterbacks are going after the board. I took Burrow, then Drake May goes here to chalky 63. Lamar Jackson goes 56th, which is, and all 3 of these guys went just a tiny bit above their ADP. But we should all be trying to stack here. Now, but we look around, the Lamar Jackson drafter has no pieces from Baltimore. Don't love it. Did he get anyone late? He did not. So he's just relying on that Lamar Jackson rushing upside to give him some floor. Okay, that's fine, but you also have an elite tight end here. You're a little bit weak at wide receiver and running back. That's going to be a lot to try to overcome. But going back to my team, so Alec Pierce got a big extension from the Colts this year. They're paying him big money to be wide receiver 1. Daniel Jones likes him. He should produce. One of my least favorite picks on this team. Not that I don't like him, but but I had to do it here. I had to start stacking up some wide receivers who have a chance to get a lot of receptions and build my floor up a little bit before I start to take some chances on some other guys later. Mekhi Lemon very well could be a ceiling guy, but I do project him to get 5-6 receptions every single game and kind of give you a solid floor in one of those wide receiver positions. Now, notice I didn't take a tight end at all until the 10th round when I went with Isaiah Likely. Because I started with hero wide receiver, I knew I had to get some value at wide receiver in these middle rounds from a couple of veterans. And of course I have Chase. Then I picked up Pierce and Wan'Dale Robinson. So to me, that establishes a real nice floor. And Mekhi Lemon also mixes right into there. So when we do that, we're looking at the ceiling, we're looking at the floor. But really, right now we want to build up the floor. We want to make sure that we get into the playoffs. And once we get to the playoffs, we're not trying to finish at the bottom. Of course, we're trying to finish in one of those top couple spots, right? Here in the 11th round, I got Zach Charbonnet. Now, remember we were talking about my other friend here who took hero running back Jadarian Price in round 5. The biggest problem I have with this pick in round 5 is that in round 11, I got Zach Charbonnet, who projects to produce a little bit more. I mean, he's just more of a known commodity. Is there a chance that Price is the far and away winner of this backfield? Sure, there's a chance. But is there a chance that he's going to take all the carries and Zach Charbonnet isn't going to get 30-40% at the very least? No, there's no chance of that. Unless Charbonnet gets hurt, he is going to get at least a little bit more than a third of the carries. And chances are it's going to be half or more than half. Okay, we had to take some flyers a little bit later in this draft at wide receiver because I started with just Jamar Chase. So we got Denzel Boston, the big body, awesome rookie wide receiver. If you've been watching my videos, you know that I love him. Ayuk, I took a little bit of a chance on, but considering we have Purdy here as my quarterback too, we really needed to develop a little bit of that San Francisco stack. So we not only do we have Ayuk, we also took Stribling, and I also took Tonjes. And I like Tonjes in a Purdy stack, especially with Kittle being banged up for a while. But as we look through, let's look through at some of these other teams. These two guys that started with double hero running backs, we've both got some solid wide receivers to build with this team. This first guy's got Dak Prescott. He's got Dak Prescott stacked with Pickens. That's solid. He's got Tucker Kraft. That's a low-level elite tight end. That's solid, decent value. Our friend here took Hurts in the 7th round, who I love in best ball compared to where his ADP is. He just has a ton of rushing upside, and how many other quarterbacks do you know that have a realistic chance to get 10 rushing touchdowns in one season? Not many. Hurts does it. He does it often, and let's see, his rushing touchdowns from last year, I expect that to bounce back a little bit. But 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He had 8 rushing touchdowns last year, and I think I'm missing a couple. I went through that really quick. Still, Hurts is solid. Pitts is someone you really needed in Week 15 last year in the playoffs to advance. You needed Pitts or McBride. Okay, so both of these two first teams built their team in decent ways. I really like this Jonah Coleman pick. I like this Algier pick right here. I think Algier is going to have a pretty good year. Everyone seems to love. We'll just see what happens with that. I think Algier is going to produce a little bit more than people think, and Love is going to produce a little bit less than people think. Moving right along. We have a friend here with the Cam Scadaboo hero running back team, and we have elite tight end on this team. He stacked Burden up with Caleb Williams. Nice little stack. But is that just... Okay, he's got Monungai involved. Monungai doesn't really catch a lot of passes, though, so I don't think he is a valid stacking partner. He doesn't really count. He's also got Kyler Murray and C.J. Stroud. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, Kyler Murray isn't on the Cardinals anymore, so that's not a stack. Yeah, I don't love this build. It's okay. You could get lucky. He has a small chance of contending with me for the first or second spot in this draft, but don't love it. I mean, you're right. Your running backs are weak. Caleb, I love, but you really only have one solid quarterback. I wouldn't expect much from Murray. Stroud has bounce back potential. So you have 2.5 quarterbacks, only 2 tight ends. You're really relying on Trey McBride. If he gets hurt, you're done. You have no chance. Absolutely no chance. That's a corner I don't love to paint myself into. The next guy with the Marion Hampton hero running back team. Okay, so this guy started strong with JSN. Then there was a little bit of a questionable move when he decided to take Hampton as his hero running back. Like I said, don't love it. They don't have a great offensive line. He's a really talented player, but if this guy was on a different team with a better offensive line, he'd be a top 5 running back most likely. You know, he's really going to have to fight to even be a top 15 running back. And let's see, he's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's being drafted as the 10th overall running back, and I think that Chase Brown projects to have a better year than him. Probably not Love, but most likely Henry, most likely Kyron Williams, most likely Josh Jacobs. So Hampton as your hero running back in the second round, don't love it. Olave should be in for a good year, maybe the best year of his career. Shuck looks pretty good. Olave was real solid last year, especially in the fantasy playoffs. He didn't do a whole lot to get you there, but once he got you there, he helped you advance. Waddle is a little bit of a flyer. We'll see how good he ends up being out there in Denver. McLaurin is a great pick. He's basically the only option that Jaden Daniels has. So, Smoking Hogan, that was a solid pick. But we got Hampton, we got Hubbard, we got Dowdle, we got Pacheco. I mean, their running backs are really, really questionable. On top of that, we look at quarterback. We have Bo Nix, and do we have any stacking partners with Bo Nix? Not really. So we got naked Bo Nix. We got Sam Darnold. He's got JSN up top, so he's got a little bit of stack action going on. Okay, we'll see what happens, buddy. Good luck. I don't think that you are finishing top 4 in this draft, let alone top 2. Chalky 63, double hero running back build with McCaffrey and Walker. Now let's see, did he fade running back for a while? He did. He's got to lean on those guys. That's good. If you take 2 running backs in the first 2 rounds or 3 running backs in the first 5 rounds, you really need to start fading running backs, because, you know, if you're going to win, the only path you have to win is if those guys stay healthy and contribute and smash all year long. So you can't have quality and quantity. If you start out with this kind of quality, you need to fade on the quantity just a little bit. They did end up drafting 6 running backs, so it looks like they took a couple of late guys, probably threw some picks in the wind and just completely wasted them. Not so much, actually. Not so much. I actually like these late running backs. This guy's got a pretty solid team. Singleton, he's a rookie flyer. You know, we'll see what happens. He probably will get some touches. He was pretty good at Penn State. That's pretty solid. But I like his next pick even more. Washington, this guy went to Arkansas, I think. Did he go to Arkansas? I'm pretty sure he went to Arkansas. And he's a real good running back as well. I know everyone loves Genty, but they just, Genty can't handle every single carry, especially now that they've got, what's his name, Mike Washington, I believe. Is it Mike? Yeah, Mike Washington, to take some of those carries from him. Ray Davis, of course they got James Cook over there, but it seems like every year there's a couple of weeks where Ray Davis just gets in the end zone a couple times, and he could be that guy that you need when some of the other guys are having a down week or are on bye. Bigsby I like as a handcuff, If Saquon Barkley gets hurt, Bigsby becomes a smash. I don't love the Wicks pick so much. Dulcich, yeah, I think there were some other tight ends available. His last couple of rounds here were real dart throws, but all the way through to the 17th round, we have a pretty solid team. We've got Bryce Young quarterback, we got Drake May as quarterback, and his third shot was Watson, who may or may not even play. So besides being thin at quarterback, this guy has a pretty solid team. He also has a few players that I like a lot compared to the field, like Parker Washington, like Casey Concepcion. So this guy, Chalky63, is one of the people that I expect to be competing with to win this league. T-Bomb. Now, T-Bomb started double hero running back and elite quarterback. We'll see if he is a little bit thin everywhere else. We got Zay Flowers and we got Mike Evans. Big Mike is a real solid pick. We'll see how Zay Flowers is this year. Baltimore, I think that he might be getting drafted just a little bit too high, but we'll see. Maybe he is a great pick. Same with Tate. There's a lot of risk to Tate. He's a big body guy. Cam Ward is maybe going to lean on him a lot, but you know what? I actually think that Cam Ward is going to lean on Wan'Dale Robinson, who I picked 2 rounds later. I think Wan'Dale Robinson projects to have more fantasy points than Carnell Tate this year. Stevenson is an okay pick. Pollard is a good pick too. Okay, so this guy's got a couple of Tennessee weapons. Does he also have Cam Ward? He does not. He's got Daniel Jones and Michael Penix and Josh Allen. Okay, so because he's got the elite quarterback in Josh Allen, he did a good job in fading and taking a couple guys later. Daniel Jones is a very good quarterback, capable of putting up good numbers whenever Josh Allen doesn't. Michael Penix, I'm a little bit less excited about him. I mean, I do think he's going to start over Tua, who got taken rounds and rounds earlier. So I think Penix is a better pick than Tua is. This guy's team is okay. Next, we have a hero running back team and an elite tight end team. Jonathan Taylor is a great hero running back, one of my favorite guys to build hero running back teams with. Brock Bowers is also my favorite elite tight end this year. I do believe that he is going to outperform McBride. Normally, you see McBride getting drafted before Bowers, but I do not mind taking Bowers over McBride, even when McBride is available. I've done it a couple of times. I don't think that that's egregious. We got T. Higgins and Igbuka are a nice little start to their wide receiver room, considering they didn't draft a wide receiver till the 3rd round. Those are 2 solid wide receivers to start with. He also has Lamar and Jackson Dart. This guy's got a real solid floor at quarterback. I mean, with Lamar and Jackson Dart, I may have considered stopping at 2 quarterbacks. This guy picked up Aaron Rodgers later, which is a flyer. I don't love that pick because he probably could have faded Aaron Rodgers and gotten him in the 18th or 19th round, and he could have picked himself up a Tesla, or what would he need on this team? Oh, he was pretty balanced going forward, so he could have picked anything. But he could have got himself a Tesla. He could have got himself a Calvin Ridley. Could have got any of these guys. All right. Then he took Jeremy Bernard, who, considering he's got Aaron Rodgers, is a nice little stack. Jeremy Bernard is a good possession wide receiver who not a lot of people seem to know about yet, but I do think he's going to get some receptions. I don't think he's going to be quite a huge difference maker, but he is a solid wide receiver who probably will appear in this guy's starting lineup at least a couple of times throughout the year. I think he kind of wasted a few picks here in the last couple of rounds, but my man right here has a decent team. This is a nice hero running back build team. He's still got TreVeyon Henderson. That's his running back too. You got Blake Corum, who, yeah, he's the RB2 and on the Rams, but the Rams have the best offensive line, so even the RB2 down there projects to have some pretty good weeks. Aaron Jones is okay. You know, these last couple running backs he really took shots on, but because he felt a little bit weak, he wanted to try to get 6. And 2 of them are a little bit weak. But, you know, if Jonathan Taylor and Henderson and Corum and Jones can be solid, and he can have 2 of those guys have good weeks almost every week, this team could be really good. It's possible. There's many routes to this team being very, very good. All right, moving right along. I think I briefly touched on this guy's team a little bit and how I do not like it. I do not like Jefferson in the 1st round. I do not like London in the second round. Devonta Smith in the third round is a decent pick. Now, he has no running backs going into the fourth round. Bucky Irvin is solid, but he's not, listen, Gainwell is going to take a lot of touches away from him. And for this guy to be your first running back off the board, he doesn't even, maybe at most he gets 60% of the touches. I think it's going to be closer to 50% or lower. I think Gainwell actually probably ends up by mid-season taking a little bit more of the workload away from Bucky Irvin. Montgomery in Houston we'll see. I mean, I think Woody Marks, just like Irving and Gainwell, is going to take touches away from him. I think Woody Marks is going to take touches away from Montgomery. Those guys are going to be, probably a close to 50-50 backfield. Montgomery does have the edge to probably get a little bit more touches, but for these guys to be your top two running backs and then to be your third running back, this guy's running backs are so thin. He's got Tua, who's not even going to start. He's got Baker and Trev. These guys are decent mid-tier quarterbacks. So he's got two mid-tier quarterbacks, a third-string quarterback who's not going to play. His running backs are really thin. He's got Laporta, who could have some decent weeks. Andrew, who's on the decline. Hawkinson is probably his best tight end, who he took as his third tight end. He took some shots on a couple of rookies down here who were good in college, Brazel and Surratt. Those aren't my favorite guys to draft here at the end of the draft. I mean, this guy, he took Brazel. His running backs are really thin. He probably should have looked at Ollie Gordon right here. Ollie Gordon is going to get the goal line, a lot of goal line. If he took Ollie Gordon on his team, Ollie Gordon would have slid into his starting lineup many weeks. At least, many weeks for a 19th round pick. I'm talking, this guy would have got in there 3, 4, 5 weeks. He really would have. But instead, he took Brazel, who chances are is never going to make it into his lineup. Same thing with Surratt. So, don't love this guy's team. One of my least favorite teams so far. TJ started out with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then he went double hero running back with Barkley and Etienne. Solid start. Garrett Wilson in the fourth round is a little bit rich for my blood. I think that DJ Moore is going to have a better season than him. I think Mike Evans is going to have a much better season than him. I think Terry McLaurin probably has a better season than him. I think Luther Burden probably has a better season than him. I think Devontae Adams probably has a better season than him. I think Rome Odunze probably has a better season than him. I think Jordan Tyson probably has a better season than him. I think Alec Pierce probably has a better season than him. I think Parker Washington probably has a better season than him. And then we'll stop at Carnell Tate here in the sixth round. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wide receivers went after Garrett Wilson, who probably are going to have a better season than Garrett Wilson. Hate this pick. Bad pick. Swift here in the fifth round. Okay, as your third running back, I don't hate it, but Monungai is going to get the ball a lot. But it doesn't matter. You already have Barkley and Etienne. That's fine. Marvin Harrison Jr. to go as your wide receiver. Your wide receivers are really weak. I mean, Amon-Ra is solid. Garrett Wilson, he's solid. You just took him like 10 wide receivers too early. Marvin Harrison is just not his dad. Okay, he's not even the number 3 option on the Cardinals. He's like the 4th option on the Cardinals. When you consider McBride, what's his name there, Wilson, and you consider Love, and you consider, did I already say McBride? Whatever. Harrison Jr. is like way back in the pecking order. Sutton is a solid pick. Godwin Jr. Coming back from injury could be solid. We've got Goff, we've got Johnson, we've got Willis, and Geno Smith. This team is just makes me want to throw up my mouth. Sorry, buddy. You know what? I mean, he started out well. He started out well, but those wide receivers really hurt him. He's way behind at wide receiver. His quarterbacks are horrible. His tight ends, not so good. This guy's got strong running backs, weak everything else. I hope you had some other good drafts, buddy. You ain't making the playoffs in this one. Okay, now we have the guy who went with Jadarian Price as his hero running back. He started out strong with wide receiver. Maybe not the best picks, but these guys are all going to be solid, and he's going to have a real nice floor and ceiling at his wide receiver position. Then he went Price for his hero running back, and he didn't draft his hero running back until the 5th round, which is already you're kind of setting yourself up for disaster. If you're going to draft a hero running back, you really want to take that hero running back in the 1st round or 2. Maybe 3. You can't wait until the 5th round to take your hero running back. I mean, this guy did take 6 running backs total, but honestly, considering you didn't take a running back until the 5th round, you probably should have taken 7. All right. So he's got Jaden Daniels and Patrick Mahomes, who both used to be really solid basketball quarterbacks. This guy, I don't know how current his information is. Both of these guys' teams are on the downslide. Jaden Daniels just doesn't have any weapons. He's got Terry McLaurin and little else. Patrick Mahomes just isn't the same since Travis Kelce has been on the decline. They're going to switch and be a little bit more lean heavy or run heavy this year with Kenneth Walker III over in Kansas City. I just don't love it. Mahomes is a good player. If you can get him in, maybe a round or two later, or if you're stacking him with some Kansas City, and this guy does have Rashee Rice. That's where he was coming from. He was stacking him up, but I don't know what the deal is with Daniels. He does not have Scary Terry. And then he went Fernando Mendoza as his third quarterback, and he went Fernando Mendoza a little bit too early. He probably could have got Fernando Mendoza a little bit later. The thing with Fernando Mendoza is he might be really good. Who knows? But he also might not start the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. So, you're basically stuck with one of these guys who, sure, they might be 15, 20-point guys most weeks, but not a whole lot of ceiling in the quarterback position. Late round picks were mostly dart throws. Ted Hurst, Tampa Bay wide receiver from Georgia State, rookie, love him. That was a good pick. Stowers, kind of like him. If you need a tight end help, this guy's tight ends are really weak. He's got Fergie from Dallas, who I like, but I don't like him enough to depend on him. Sadiq is incredible, the rookie, the Jet. But the thing is, Geno Smith, the offensive line, are they going to be able to get him the ball enough? And now, they have more weapons. They've got Omar Cooper Jr. They've got Breece Hall. They've got Garrett Wilson. They got Sadiq. They got Mason Taylor. They got a lot of people to spread the ball around to. I just don't think he's going to have a high percentage of the offense. And when they do try to get him the ball, it's just going to be tough because Geno Smith's not going to have a lot of time to throw. And the Jets are just in a real crappy situation. Sampson is pretty good value here in the 13th round. I like Judkins better, but considering this guy went much later, Sampson is a pretty solid pick. Overall, this guy's team just not good enough, Grox. Sorry, buddy. All right, now we have an interesting build here with Steppit. Steppit started quadruple running back. Genty, Achane, Hall, and Williams. Okay, I mean, they're all solid players. You're going to be weak at a lot of other positions now. And you took 6 running backs total, even though you took 4 in the first 4 rounds. If you take 4 running backs in the first 4 rounds, I'm not saying it's impossible. You can build good teams like that. But listen, you need to build probably a 5 running back team if you're starting with 4 running backs. Maybe even you should think about just drafting 4 running backs. I mean, if you're drafting 4 running backs in the first 4 rounds, you're relying on those guys. If they don't all smash, you are not going to win. So any pick you're taking later on in the draft, wasting it on a running back pick, it's probably just a wasted pick. I mean, you're either going to lose or you're not. It's already decided by that point. And you're not helping yourself out any further by taking some third-string running back in the 18th round. Now, after taking 4 running backs in the first 4 rounds, he went low-level elite tight end with Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren is a very solid tight end. I happen to love him this year. I think I like him a little bit more than Loveland. It's a good pick, but it's not a good pick here on this team because this guy has no wide receivers on his team, and he went the entire first 5 rounds with no wide receivers. Didn't take a wide receiver until the 6th round when he took Watson, okay, and DK Metcalf. And these guys are mid-tier wide receivers who just do not have enough of the target share to justify them being your top 2 wide receivers. Same thing with Coker, same thing with Higgins, same thing with Tesla. None of these guys are high-volume wide receivers. You have absolutely no wide receivers on your team that give you any floor. Maybe you have a little bit of ceiling here and there, but this person's going to take some zeros in their wide receiver spot. They literally have 8 wide receivers on their team, and they are going to take zeros in their wide receiver spot. When it comes to quarterback, they're okay with Stafford and Love and Jacoby Brissett, even if Jacoby Brissett probably is only going to play the first half of the year, and then they're going to be losing. The fans are going to cry for Carson Beck to come in, and then Jacoby Brissett is going to be sitting on the bench, and you only have 2 quarterbacks at this time. So running backs are strong. You have 1 strong tight end. Kittle could be strong if he's healthy. He has not been healthy. I don't expect him to be healthy. So for that reason, I don't like that pick either. I mean, there's a lot of dart throws back here. That's why this guy should not have started 4 running backs. It is possible. You can draft some good teams starting 4 running backs, but not if you do not know the depth at the back end of the draft. So now we have gone over all these strategies, gone over double hero running back builds. Now, I've built some double hero running back teams that I like a lot more than these 2 guys, but these two guys actually had pretty solid bills, both of them, the guy in the 101 and the guy in the 102. I think us three probably have the strongest teams in the first three slots here, but we have a few other strong teams as well. While no one did anything crazy, really, I mean, there was a little bit of questionable moves. There wasn't anything that happened that caused anyone to fall much past their ADP because they were taking other people too high when they shouldn't have. That didn't really happen. The NFL schedule is going to come out tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. And that's why we're kind of doing this autopsy video, because, we really want to focus on strategy at this point. We're kind of putting ourselves at a disadvantage by doing best ball drafts today when the schedule is going to be out tomorrow. So starting tonight and tomorrow, we will be able to draft with week 15, week 16, and week 17 in mind. We will be able to set up those stacks, those bringbacks, those playoff matchups that are going to help us advance in the playoffs. That's a huge advantage. Right now, we're basically just trying to get value. We're trying to get team stacks. We're trying to get divisional stacks. You're just trying to get that edge wherever you can get it. Even the schedule is going to cause some of these ADPs to shift even. So there is a little bit to be said about drafting before the schedule is out. But now that we're so close, I think it's a little bit smarter. I'm probably not going to do any more best ball drafts today. And if I do, it'll be tonight after the schedule is known. But you know what? As soon as the schedule is known, I'm probably going to do a deep dive. I'm going to identify the very best playoff matchups for weeks 15, 16, and 17. I'm probably going to start building myself a nice little chart. I'll probably come out with a video talking all about the best playoff matchups for best ball this year that you should be targeting, that you should be stacking, that you should be building bringbacks, ping pong shots, and all that good stuff. All right. Well, this has been the autopsy. We broke this one down. Hopefully we won big money in this draft, at least advance to the playoffs. And you know what? Advancing to the playoffs isn't even enough. I need to advance to the playoffs and then advance to week 16 at the very least, in a bunch of lineups. So that way I can make my money back. But really, I'm not trying to make my money back in week 16. I'm trying to profit in week 17, and I'm trying to help you do that too. So like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you soon.